Hello, everyone. We are answering the question what ways the theological beliefs of those Christian educators during the periods of Renaissance and Reformation influence the approach to education in general or Christian education. When medieval civilization began to disintegrate, a cultural renewal movement appeared, which is called Renaissance. Renaissance is actually a new birth of some of the old classical and natural beliefs and cultures people had. So, possibly during medieval period, due to Catholic domination, the rebirth of classical humanism came about. So, called a Northern Renaissance, which took place because of many wars, Hundred-Year War or Crusades, and the Black Plague, and Roman art and wealth of Italy. Primary focus was on dignity of man rather than God. So it was study of humanities and liberal arts. Universities and public schools and private schools came about, but it all brought about humanism. The first modern educator during that time was Vittorino da Feltre. He was influenced by Petrarch and Quintilian theories of education, which we had seen in our last lesson. Gerhard Grote founded elementary and devotional education, but that was limited for boys. So, this we will come to know when we talk about Reformation during Lutheran time, how education for women came about. And Erasmus was instrumental in developing religious humanism. So, when you say religious humanism, they are actually becoming a liberal theology. That is how, over the years I have seen in history, not only in Renaissance time, even our time, it gets diluted a lot. So they were religious in philosophy, but humanistic in content. The more the focus came from God unto people or mankind. So this all caused, Reformation education system. So Reformation period came about because of Renaissance served classical humanism, scientific and geographical exploration, spiritual and political status within the Catholic Church. So we have the personalities Luther, Loyola, Calvin, and then finally ending in Jesuits. So we know Luther clearly mentioned that education is to be run by state and supported by church, whereas Calvin said church should run the education system, schools, and supported by state. And Jesuits said it should be totally run by church alone and not by state at all. So the 95 Thesis of Luther is the hit mark for Protestant Reformation. And he also did women's education. So we see his colleague Philip Melanchthon. He combined the Protestant faith with classical humanistic approach. And so it is called the contemporary Christian education. So Luther, as I said, he introduced women education. And Calvin and Zwingli and Knox, they were the model for theological framework of schooling. So when Calvin emphasized that revelation should be the foundation for education and it should glorify God, and knowledge should lead to know about self, but finally ending in God. So Loyola, we know, introduced catechism, but vernacular and secondary education, but his total concentration was on Catholics. So based on that, the Jesuits Reformation came about. So Roman Catholic under that, I mean, under Roman Catholic Reformation, we have uh, uh, Society of Jesus, which brought about the Jesuit Reformation. So Council of Trent and new teaching orders and formation of Society of Jesus was the significant factors under Roman Catholic Reformation. So Ignatius Loyola, which I said already, emphasized or brought about the Society of Jesus, and also the Society of Jesus focused on these facts. All glory to God, uh, but by bringing that restriction on Protestant Reformation, they concentrated on the schooling and education system and establishment of institutions restricted more for Catholics. So although they are called the best educators and best having best in education institutions, it got restricted during Catholic Reformation. Thank you. Hope this answers the question.